I'm Scott Goldfein, Associate Publisher and Editor-in-Chief of Security Sales and Integration. Welcome to SSI's Security Speaking podcast. Security dealers and integrators are constantly seeking out new RMR opportunities, and over the years we've seen some interesting niche market opportunities, from monitoring fire extinguishers to anklet bracelet monitoring. Well, Kings 3 Emergency Communications sees the monitoring of elevator emergency telephones as the next potentially lucrative, unconventional recurring revenue market for dealers. The company outlined the opportunity with Chief Content Officer Jason Knott. Be sure to subscribe to SSI's YouTube channel. Hit the like button, share, and leave comments. Or subscribe to SSI's Security Speaking podcast on Apple and Spotify. And leave us a review. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Security Sales and Integrations Security Speaking podcast. This is the industry podcast where we bring together leaders in the security industry to discuss some of the key issues that are facing professional integrators. I'm Jason Knott, Chief Content Officer of Security Sales and Integration, and with me today is the team from Kings 3 Emergency Communications to talk about a very unique market opportunity for integrators, and that is the elevator business. Yes, the elevator business. I'm sure they've heard every pun in the world about what a strong vertical market this is and how it's something that integrators can look up to, all the puns intended there. But truly, this is a big opportunity for integrators to look at in a specific niche market. So with me today to talk about this opportunity are Dennis Mason, CEO of Kings 3. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Jason. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for joining me today. And then also Thomas Worthington, Director of Dealer Programs at Kings 3. Hi, Tom.
How you doing, Jason? Very excited to be here.
Thanks for joining me today. All right. So before we jump into the meat and potatoes, let's get a little bit of background for integrators who may not know about Kings 3. Dennis, tell us the history of Kings 3.
So Kings 3 was started in 1989, and it was really started as a elevator communication centric business. And so it kind of came out of the security alarm space in that the gentlemen who started this company were in the electronic security space, and they'd been asked many times by their customers, hey, you monitor my bird, you monitor my fire, why don't you monitor my emergency phone? And so they thought, well, maybe there's an opportunity to do a business here. So in 1989, they went out and started focusing on emergency telephones inside elevators. And we've been doing that now. This is our 33rd year. So we focus specifically on that and all two-way voice communications in emergency situations.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. All right, Tom, let me turn to you. Why should fire, security, and other life safety integration companies be looking at the elevator industry as an opportunity?
Well, I mean, at Kings 3, we believe there's just huge opportunity in the elevator phone space. So with the adoption of new cellular technology, really integrators and fire alarm companies now have a way to monetize the communications path in addition to providing the elevator phone monitoring. So just an absolute tremendous chance to get market share and also get recurring revenue. Very similar to the fire industry, you have pressures of high phone line costs and also the phone lines going away in some markets. So with cellular technology, integrators and companies like Kings 3 now are able to provide a cellular communications path and eliminate the need for a phone line. And just like in the fire and security industry, it has opened up an entirely new revenue stream. So we're very bullish at Kings 3 on just the huge opportunity out there. And just beyond that, the elevator industry is kind of 10 years behind the fire and security as far as adopting new technology. So there's just so many elevators out there still connected to traditional phone lines that you're going to find a lot of opportunity to convert those to cellular and to, ultimately get that recurring revenue into your pockets instead of the phone companies. So, that along with just a lot of, we found that a lot of alarm companies already monitor elevator phones. So a lot of these companies are already in that space. They already have the partnership with that property. And it's very easy to get the elevator phone monitoring in addition to the other primary services they provide.
So one of the things that's been a holy grail for the security industry for so many years is on the fire side, because it's code driven. So correct me if I'm wrong, these two-way communication phones in elevators, this is something that's required by code. It's not an option. Or can you have elevators without these communication systems in them?
Yeah, very good point. Much like the fire industry, the elevator industry is heavily regulated. We have a very strict code. Fire has NFPA. The elevator industry has the ASME A17 code. So, I mean, that's one great thing. At Kings 3, we've been in this space for 30 years. So we have such an expertise in the elevator code that all of our products meet that code. Especially on our cellular side, we've worked for years and years developing solutions that meet the code requirements for all 50 states.
So, Dennis, let me ask you this. Tom mentioned that a lot of integrators are already, have worked in this space before and have relationships with, let's just say, the facilities managers and those sorts of things. But why aren't the elevator phones handled by the elevator companies?
In most cases, they can be. As Tom mentioned, technology has been one of those things in the elevator space that's been very developed around the performance of the elevator. But the communications is something that has historically been a challenge for the elevator industry. They're not technology people, they are elevator people. And so as technology has changed, most elevator guys want to put their meter on the phone line. If there's 48 volts, that tells them it should work, right? And we all know in communications, that's not really reality. And so I think for the most part, the elevator companies have historically been frustrated by kind of the lack of parallel between the work they do and the communications work. And so historically they've done it, but not very well. And if they can get out of doing it, they certainly like to do it. And you may know some elevator guys. It's a little bit of a prima donna industry. And so I think sometimes dealing with phone lines is a little kind of beneath their pay grade, so to speak. And so there's a reluctance on the technician side to really get involved in it. Most of it is they just don't understand communication paths and that technology. They're used to very specific elevator technology. So they can do it, but they don't do it well and they don't like to do it. So that creates even more opportunity for someone who is much more telecom centric to come in and fill the space.
So Tom, let's pick up on that point. What's happening in the space that's changed from the phone monitoring standpoint that makes this such a good opportunity right now for integrators?
Yeah, I think what's really been the trend, especially over the last 5 years, again, is to pivot back to the technology, to the cellular adoption. So in the elevator industry, cellular was a little bit slow to be adopted, but now it's really become widespread accepted. And just like in the fire industry, customers want to get off of phone lines. So that's been the biggest opportunity, the ability to eliminate the phone line for the customer. And when it comes to the fire companies, especially, if they're already offering a cellular and wireless service on the fire alarm side, the ability to completely get that customer off of all of their phone lines, should they have elevators, is a tremendous value added. So I think that's really the biggest change. Is the ability to really provide the communications path.
I would think that there'd be that same opportunity we're seeing generally in the security space right now with the sunsetting of 3G on the cellular side, that this is a golden opportunity for integrators to go back in to upgrade that cellular communication system. I would think the same thing happening on the elevator side.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to what Dennis mentioned before about the dynamic that a lot of elevator companies don't provide this service. So you have a lot of demand. The customers want it, but they usually will go to the elevator company first, and a lot of elevator companies do not provide cellular solutions for the elevator phone. So there is kind of a lack of supply, a way to think of it. So again, back to the tremendous opportunity for some of these dealers to come in and gain new recurring revenue and honestly new customers, because a lot of a lot of building owners out there are looking for ways off of traditional phone lines.
This is a situation where the integrator needs to forge a relationship with that elevator company who's obviously going to have to go in and do the inspection that's required. And if the elevator company is not really interested in handling the communications aspect, is there a partnership opportunity there?
I think one of the things that we offer our dealers is that link, right? And so we are an elevator company first. And so we don't need them to partner with the existing elevator service company. Our dealers can work with us, and we provide the code expertise. We provide kind of everything that they would need. We understand we're not fire guys, so we don't know the ins and outs of NFPA. In the same way, the fire guys are not elevator guys, right? So they don't know the ins and outs of ASME. So it's really important to work with someone who does have that knowledge. As Tom mentioned, the codes are pretty specific around how an elevator phone has to operate. And so I think going in alone would be very challenging, or could be, because you're not aware, is the work I'm doing here compliant with the elevator code? So that's one of the features that we offer our dealers, is that, Tom sits on a code committee, I sit on a code committee. We have other employees that sit on the ASME code committees. And so we're well ingrained into the elevator code, and we can help our dealers navigate that path when they may not be experts in the ASME code.
Just so our listeners and viewers know, ASME stands for what?
I'm sorry, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, and that is a nationwide elevator code across every state in the U.S. They have different code year adoptions, but ASME is the standard across the U.S.
Great. All right, Tom, let me turn back to you. What makes an integrator a good fit for working with Kings 3?
Yeah, I think, we've had the dealer program for some years now. We've really, I think we really know what a great profile is for a successful dealer. And a lot of it on the fire side and security side is companies that are already converting fire panels and security panels to cellular and radio mesh. They are a great fit because they have another solution for their customer when they partner with Kings 3, that they can remove another POTS line for that customer. In addition, a lot of integrators out there already have elevator phone monitoring accounts out there. They may have a handful, but again, this is a great way to complement. If you already have an existing elevator phone monitoring account, you now have a code compliant solution to turn that account to cellular and eliminate that customer's POTS line. And beyond that, just companies that are looking to grow revenue, enter this space and partner with us. We're looking for long-term partnerships, and we're looking to win together.
So is there anything specific that Kings 3 offers to their dealers to make this even more attractive?
Yeah, I know Dennis touched on it earlier, but I can't, just to underscore again, the dealer support that we provide. It's not only the on-site the technical support for technicians when they're installing our equipment, but also pre-sale support, our knowledge of the code. We really are there to help navigate fire and security companies into this space while setting them up to win. So we always recommend that they leverage our expertise, our 30 years of knowledge, and our technical and pre-sale support, so that they can enter this space, win, and not have headaches.
It sounds like a good backup training there. Yeah, go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, just say, most of our dealers are in the RMR business, right? And so this is really about how do they create additional RMR streams in their business, right? And so this is a way that they can do it without having to necessarily be experts in the elevator code. We can work with them to provide them an opportunity to create more RMR. And most businesses, that's what they want, right? One-time sales are great. RMR is king, right? And so I think that's really where we help them kind of transition into a space that they don't have a lot of expertise, but that they can generate, pretty significant margin RMR.
Are there any particular challenges that an integrator might face if he gets into this market? For example, are there additional safety requirements and things like that that they need to know from an insurance standpoint, or is their regular insurance kind of cover them? Or what about the communication signal within, these elevator shafts are concrete sometimes? Is there some sort of special expertise they need to know in terms of the communication side of it? Either one of you guys want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, there's nothing they need to know. If the cellular was actually inside the shaft, then that might be problematic. The solution that we provide is essentially a two-piece solution. The phone remains analog, but the cellular dialer sits either in the phone room or in some place where you're not worried about phone signal, and it's not moving. You want that in a fixed location. So that part's pretty easy. I always hesitate to talk about insurance coverage for anyone. I would say, make sure you consult your insurance advisors about that. And I'm sorry, I forgot the first part of that question.
No, I think you covered it there, whether they had any specialty safety tools or anything like that they needed. But it sounds like what they're using when they're out there in the field and their normal run of business on security, burg and fire, and that same set of tools is going to be what they need for this.
Yeah, I think they'll need to make sure that they work with us on what code year is in place, because there are certain things that have to be done with different code years. And so that's where working with us really helps. Is we can say, oh, you're under 2013 code, so you have to make sure that you've got phone line monitoring built into your solution. So if you're under 19 code, then there's a video aspect. So working with King3 is really important for these companies that don't have kind of that expertise in making sure that the solution that's being provided meets the code year in the state or in the jurisdiction that they're actually doing the installation. So that's super critical.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yep, go ahead, Tom.
I would just add as well, Jason, more on the technical side, on the installation side, we've developed really what makes one of our cellular products so popular in our dealer program is that it allows alarm and security technicians to really install our cellular device, usually in the telephone room or telco room, and without ever touching any other elevator hardware, ever having to go in the elevator room or ever having to go into the elevator itself. So, we have a very field proven solution that works with any existing hardware. And that's kind of what makes the entry into this industry a little bit easier for the fire and security technicians.
One area that I know a lot of integrators gravitate towards commercial facilities, but we've seen the latest housing numbers, and if you've seen the single family housing numbers are going way down because just land is so darn expensive. But the multi-dwelling numbers are significantly rising, and they're anticipating there's going to be more and more high-rise condominiums and high-rise luxury apartment structures built that obviously are going to have elevators in them, and again, a new construction opportunity there for integrators. All right, Tom, let me finish off with you. What does an integrator need to do if he wants to work with King3?
Yeah, I would just say reach out to me. I'm the head of the dealer program here at King3, and I would love to talk to you, get to better understand what you guys are interested in, and we can go from there.
Fantastic. All right. I want to thank Thomas Worthington and Dennis Mason for joining Security Sales and Integration today on our Security Speaking podcast. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jason.